Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. Today's video we're doing something different. We're talking about lights. Specifically, I'm going to talk about the Zhiyun Cinepeer CM25 LED light, bicolor LED light. So why am I talking about this light? I'm glad you asked. Now, before all you photography friends get all I'm not going to watch this video because it's about light. I'll share some practical photography applications for this light beyond its generally intended use, which is for video. So stay tuned for that. I'll talk more about that. Speaking of things to talk a little bit more about, the reason I have this light is because the folks at Zhiyun reached out to me a couple weeks ago and asked if I was interested in taking a look at this light and then potentially making a video. So I have been sent this light for free, but they have not seen this video yet, and they have had no real input into the content of the video except for sending me the specs. So there you go, full disclosure there. Another reason I'm making this video is I want to start a series of videos because I've noticed a lot of conversation on YouTube these days about should every photographer have a YouTube channel, or other photographers that are considering scaling way back their YouTube presence because they've been doing it for 10 plus years. So in either case, one of the things that'll be important to you if you're adding to YouTube or considering YouTube is your lights. So as you can see, I have many of them. There's a total of 12 lights making this happen here right now. And it's taken me a long time to get here. I've kind of settled on this for the past year or so. And this light I'm going to consider adding in my daily video here in YouTube Studio Land. And I'll show you that in a couple minutes where I plan to use this. So what I'm going to do is create a series of videos over the next few months about how I've approached creating YouTube content, the equipment, the gear, the philosophy, and all that stuff. So I'll be building out this playlist for YouTube things. And we're going to start with this light, which is kind of small, but kind of mighty. You've heard it said that the best camera is the one that's with you. I would extend that to say the best light is the one that's with you. So this light is super small, really light, and very, very versatile. So let's talk through the specs a little bit, what this light is, what it costs, and then we'll talk about use cases and all my thoughts on this light as I've used it for the past little bit of time. So for specifications, as the name implies, this is a 25 watt bicolor LED light. So this is bicolor, which means it goes from 2700 Kelvin to 6200 Kelvin. The light weighs 220 grams, which is about a half a pound, and it will retail for $69 US. So that price is a really great value, I think, for this light. I know I've bought lights for a lot more money not that long ago, so it's pretty neat to see the value proposition of these lights increase quite a bit. One of the cool things that this light comes with is this little silicone diffuser, which I'll quickly take off so you can see the light LEDs there. This light does have a fan on it, which is a smart fan. It turns on as it needs to. I'll talk a little bit more about the fan later on when we're talking about using this light. So this light has a built-in battery that's good for about 37 minutes in my case. It's rated at 35 minutes. So 100% power. I got 37 minutes out of this at 3500 Kelvin. For power, this light can be powered by USB-C, either via power delivery or a battery for charging or giving extra power while you're running this, or plug into a power delivery outlet. So lots of different ways to make this light last just about indefinitely and or to charge the battery. So let's talk about some use cases for this light. Some of the things I can think of and I've already used this light for because it's very, very versatile and it's small and light and easy to take with you everywhere. So I'm going to turn off my background light so I can demonstrate this a little more easily with the different use cases I'm going to use, and we'll be back in just a second. So what a difference those accent lights make. Light's really powerful for shaping stories, telling stories, shaping attention. So currently I'm just being lit by my two lights, which I have in front of me. One's a fill light and one is the key light, and I'll talk about those in a later video. But what I want to do with this light right now is I'll show you some practical uses for it. And that first use I'm going to show you is as a hair light. So I'm going to place it overhead on a boom arm overhead, and we'll use that to give a little separation. Before I do that, just a quick little conversation about how this light works. It's super easy. There's two knobs, two dials. One is for power to turn it on and change the intensity of the light, and the second one is for the color temperature. So just a quick little switch, turn that light on. You can go from, this is at 100% to 0%. Well, that's 0%. Now it's off. And then you can dial that in as you like. It's a nice, smooth dial. It works really easily and quickly. And then the color temperature ranges from 6,200 to 2,700. So you get those different light options there. So I'm going to set this light at around 5,000 Kelvin to get the light temperature pretty close to my main lights here. And I'll put that overhead in just a minute. So here we go real quick. This is what it looks like with no hair light to give separation. And here's what it looks like with the light. So now we have that light acting as a hair light. So I get a little separation here between myself and the background. That's a nice little easy thing to do. And it makes a big difference in the video. It gives a little sense of depth, and it's very easy to do. All right, let's talk about another potential application for this light. And for this one, what I'm going to do is replace my current fill light with this light acting as the fill light. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn off this as my hair light, turn on my regular hair light, which is up there in the corner, and then I'm going to replace the fill light that I usually have in just a minute. So here we go. So now I'm running the Zhiyun CM25 as my fill light, and I really like the way this looks. I'm pretty sure I'm going to use this as my daily fill light for YouTube studio use. So stay tuned on an update for that in a future video. But I think this is a great use case for this light, is as a fill light. So next one I want to show you is what this light looks like when you use it on camera as your main light. So you might have this in a quick, maybe like a documentary style video, or if you're doing some photos where you just need a light on your camera and you just need a little extra light, this is what it might look like. So it's easy to hold. It doesn't add a lot of weight. Again, it's less than half a pound. So it's not a lot of extra weight, but let me show you what it looks like when it's placed on the camera and it's working as the only light source for this video. So we'll do that next. So this is what it looks like with the Zhiyun CM25 as the only light source, shining directly at me with the light placed directly on the camera. I'm running this right at around 50% power. I haven't changed any of my exposure settings on the camera, but obviously you got a different look here, but you do have light. It does make a little bit of a flat light. It is quite bright as I'm squinting into it and trying not to blink, but it's pretty bright, and it makes a different look, but it is functional, and you can get quite a bit of light from this little tiny light on your camera. So in addition to being an on-camera main light, I imagine in other places you can take advantage of the flexibility and small size of this light when you don't have a lot of room, like maybe in a car, or if you're working in another very small space or have limited room to set up other lighting equipment, this light could work very, very well. So another couple places I could think of for photography uses would be product photography, and I'll show some examples of that. I use this quite a bit for small product photography. I've used these types of light. They're very flexible. They're so fun to be able to position, to change light and shadow based on where you place the light, because you can just hold them or put them on a light stand. I tend to just hold them because it's super flexible and easy to move around with the camera on a tripod. So that's some of my thoughts on some of these use cases for this light. I'd love to see what you anticipate using this light for. So please leave that in the comments below. So next up, let's turn on all the lights again, and let's talk about my thoughts and opinions on this light after using it for a little bit. All right, we're back to normal here with our lights. Feels good. So some thoughts on this light as I've used it for a little bit of time. And a couple practical things. I think it's a great size. It's a great value. Having the flexibility of bicolor is really nice. The battery life is really nice. As I mentioned, I got 37 minutes of full power. I got about an hour and 2 minutes at half power. So this will last quite a bit of time. For video, an hour of video is quite a long time. I'm not a very technical person in regarding lighting. I'm very, very practical about how I use my light. So I'm not sure and can't really speak to color accuracy or any color consistency things. But again, in my brief use, I felt like the light looks like it should. I was able to match it pretty closely, I think, to my other lights in the room. So that's what's important. And I feel like this is going to do a really nice job. A couple usability things for the light. As I mentioned earlier, the dials are really convenient to use. They're very smooth and fast to go from one setting to another. However, I wish they were clicked. I know that's going to slow the movement down, but it's very, very easy to nudge this from one setting to another. So that's a little bit of usability thing. As this light is turned up to higher power settings, so 50% or higher, when you get to 100% especially, the fan will turn on after approximately a minute. So I currently have the light on and running. It's down below me, as you maybe see a reflection coming up. And it's the fan is at what I believe is its fullest speed. So let's see if you can hear it from my microphone here on my lavalier. I'll bring it up to closer so you can see what that sounds like. Let's move it a little far away. So this is where it would be if I was using it as my fill light. So if I don't run it at 100% for a fill light, so let's turn that back down to about where I was, which is right around 25 to 50%. And let's see what that sounds like. I can hear it ramping down. I don't know if it's picking up on the microphone here, but now it's cooled down to its 25%, I think, velocity setting for the fan. And it's pretty quiet. It's not a very loud sound. It's a very white noise sound. So it's, I don't think, very disruptive to potentially recording. This is something you might want to pay attention to depending on your sensitivity to that kind of noise in your recordings, as well as distance to any microphones that you're using to make recordings. Another couple of usability things. This is made out of plastic, but it's a really high quality plastic, feels very durable and solid. Good construction quality there as far as I know. There is a 1/4-20 screw on the bottom, and I currently have in place the silicone diffuser on here. Let's talk about this diffuser for a minute. This is not great, to be honest. It doesn't fit real well. It comes off very easily. It's not very secure. I mean, it's just as I was using it overhead and on the camera, it didn't want to stay on very well. It does help diffuse the light a little bit. So I think in when you kind of set it and forget it setting, that'll work just fine. But it is something that's going to require a little fussing and something you want to pay attention to make sure it's actually attached to the light. So let's wrap this up with some final thoughts that I have on the Zhiyun CM25 LED light. I think it's a great light. I think especially for the value of $69 US, you get a really versatile and flexible light to use that's very easy to use with really reasonable battery life for its size. And regarding the battery life, one thing I did forget to mention, in charging this, it took an hour and a half to recharge with my 95 watt MacBook Pro power delivery battery, charger, I should say. So it does take a bit of time to refill the battery, but since you can run this off of a power delivery power bank, you pretty much have unlimited battery life, which is pretty cool in a very, very, again, flexible light like this. So for photographers, for videographers, this is a great light, super easy to put in your bag to carry with you anywhere so that you have light whenever you might need light. I think it's very flexible. I know I'm going to use it in here as probably my new fill light to camera left here, or camera right, excuse me. And then I'm also going to use it for product photography when I do photos, stills, for either YouTube thumbnails or other things that I photograph right over there. So I think it's a great light. I highly encourage you to consider it as you're thinking about either adding a light for your video setup, or maybe you're even thinking of starting a YouTube video channel of your own. This would be a great light to add to that kit. If you have any questions about the light, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. Be glad to chat with you about that. I look forward to making some more content around maybe what YouTube might look like to get get started for you. So if you have any suggestions or questions or topic ideas for that, leave that down below. I'm still going to be doing street photography. I'm heading out with a friend in a week and a half to go do some Bellevue stuff again, so that's not going to change, but I thought I'd share some of the things I've learned about YouTube along the way as far as creating the setting and space for recording videos like this. So I hope you found this video helpful. Look forward to seeing you in a future video. So until I see you again, I hope you stay safe, stay well, and have fun creating photo or videos. So bye for now.